G'day, ladies and gents, and welcome back to War Thunder. Today, we're going to be doing some ME410 stuff. Yes, that's right. The Hornies, the sort of plane that just gets left around and no one seems to care about it. Well, I'm here to care about it, and it's actually really fun. It's really, really fun. Now, as you can see, I'm in a squad. I'm in a 4-man squad, and I'm not with Eurus guys. I'm not with any top tier guys. I'm with some subscribers, and perhaps one of the best ME410 pilots in the entire game, my boy Darty1, who is the owner of Volt Squadron. Darty1, one of the better 410 pilots. In fact, I think he is considerably the best. Pretty sure he's got a 5KD in the the B6R3. The really, one that everyone says you struggle in. Well, he doesn't struggle in it at all. This one, however, is one that is supposedly very fairly tiered. Now, I flew this out for about an evening, and I think it's fun. I think it's very overlooked, and if you play it right, it's just about as good as the Whirlwind. And I think it's better, personally. And we'll see in this battle kind of why. It is a very heavy plane, though, and whilst it does lack the climb rate that the Whirlwind has, it certainly makes up for that in its in-flight capabilities. It's nowhere near as fast and hard as the Whirlwind, and it does have a little bit better overall speed control. It can sort of manage itself quite well at the tier that it's matched at. Not only that, but it doesn't have to go against the four heavy bombers, the 264 and the BV323, the BV. I can't remember. Oh my god, that's awful. I can't remember. BV238. There we go. It hit me in the head. Hit me in the face, in fact. Yep. What we're going to be doing in this match is hitting allies in the face, because allies at this tier are pretty bad. 3.7 tends to be the battle rating that gets down tiered a fair bit, and it tends to be sort of 4.3 to 5.3 that gets the up tiers. It's alright, and you can even work with this thing at 4.0, 4.3. You'll start to struggle at 4.7 though, because you'll be facing P-51 Mustangs, and those things will rip you to shreds if you're not careful. Even if you are careful, they do still have that potential. But for the most, I think the 410 is really good, and you'll see exactly why. This match is going to start off pretty slow, but as you can see, I'm climbing into the enemy, and this is a bit of a no-no. You don't really do this in a heavy fighter, but I'm going to get away with it anyway, because, I get lucky. Most of the time, what you should be doing is you should be side climbing a little bit. You should be perhaps going for the bombers to start off with, especially if you're at a tier where bombers are extremely powerful, like 5.3. If you're in a heavy fighter, there are B-29s up, or maybe there are 177s or 264s, you name it. Any of the really strong bombers, you probably should shut down as a heavy fighter pretty early. And I'm not doing that, because I feel like Darty and a couple of my squad mates have me covered. Now, this is at the height of, I think it was like 3 or 4 days into the Operation Shipyard, and so everyone's testing out their brand new Whirlwinds. Everyone. And so the sky is pretty much going to be saturated with things like Whirlwinds, also things that are quite strong like Spitfires and Corsairs. The Corsairs are probably what I should be looking out for the most, because the Corsair is faster than me. Probably not in a dive, but in general. The Corsair also probably arguably has better guns, but here you can see I'm about to go head on with a Whirlwind, and I only have 2 MG151s. I duck underneath his guns, and you can see that he is a lot heavier than me. Well, at least he plays that way, because he's got thinner wings, and he needs to keep his speed up. He's not as floaty as the 410. You see, if you have big fat wings, it means you generate big fat amounts of lift. If you generate big fat amounts of lift, then that means it's pretty much all good for you at lower speeds compared to at higher speeds, where you'll struggle a little bit. But I've got a Spitfire ahead of me, and I think I'm going to go and take a cheeky head on, but I've got to watch out for that Whirlwind above me. The Spitfire looks like he's going for a late head on. I'm just going to commit to him, because it looks like he's trying to do some funny stuff, and it's a 2A anyway. He flies right in front of my guns, I guess. And that's all she wrote. well, not really all she wrote for Spitfires, because I have a Whirlwind there, and more importantly, that Spitfire off above me to my 9 o'clock. I'm going to focus on the Whirlwind though, and I've got my squad mate here, who is also evading. Yes, he is. There we go. And the Whirlwind is going to stick on me. So the Whirlwind and the Spitfire and another Spitfire are going to be a little bit of a problem. So it seems like my squad mate is engaging the Whirlwind, and the Whirlwind is still sticking to me, and a Hurricane is down below me. So I've got to be careful. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to try and extend and try and draw the Spitfire away, allow for my squad mate to try and take out the Spitfire, or at least distract it well enough that I can get into a 1v1 with the Whirlwind. And I know that a 1v1 in a Whirlwind, well, I have no idea how this thing flies, and I have no idea how the 410 flies, or the Whirlwind, so I have to, experiment a little bit. I do know, however, that the Spitfire will outperform me in a dogfight, and so if I can get away from the Spitfire and make it Whirlwind versus ME410, then I have a much better chance at winning. And you can see here that I'm actually keeping up with the Whirlwind. I can't quite make him overshoot, but here he goes into a critical mistake. He goes into a vertical, and that allows me to drop enough speed that I can get to some optimal turning. Now, he's also dropped his speed, which means that he's beyond his optimal turning, or below, sorry, and that allows me to start using my flaps a little bit. The Whirlwind, whilst it does have good flaps, doesn't seem to have that great low-speed performance, mainly because it's got two powerful engines, and it's also got very, very thin wings. And in general, you can see that I am starting to gain some distance, or I'm starting to gain some closure, if you will. He's going to overshoot soon, and I could pop my air brakes here, but I don't really want to. I don't think it's necessary. You can use your flaps, and you can use maneuvers as well as throttle control instead of that air brake, and you don't really need to waste that much energy. And you can see that I've just managed to get in behind. I rip a flap as a stupid mistake, but I almost had the shot on the Whirlwind. If I can keep the speed nice and low, that means that the Whirlwind is going to maybe get a little shot like he just did there, but he misses, and I can engage the gunners. This is why I like the 410. I can engage the gunners, and you can see now I've gone into a vertical, and the Whirlwind is sort of out of energy here. He's got a little bit more than me, but just because of his slow speed, he's got no maneuverability, and I open up with the gunners, and I think I get a couple of hits here, but nothing really too serious. There we go, one hit on the 13mm. So I go and I put myself into a split S, and the Whirlwind is going to come around. He's going to try and match me, and you can see that he looks like he's getting the better, so I bug out as quickly as possible, and I go again. If you can't get it right the first time, don't risk it. Absolutely do not risk it. And you can see that I'm making my turns nice and short, and I set him on fire. I set his right engine on fire, and that means that he's pretty much a goner. Those thin wings probably won't stand a lot of damage, and that thing looks really, really delicate. So I'm guessing it is. And lo and behold, he does eventually go down somewhere. There he goes, into the trees. So I managed to win myself a 1v1 with a Whirlwind, and that brings us a couple of things that we like to learn about the Whirlwind and the 410. The 410 seems to be a little bit lighter, so if the Whirlwind had played faster, if he'd gone for a boom and zoom instead, or if he had kept the high-speed dogfight, he probably could have gotten the better of me. And that's something that we should take away. But there's sort of no time really, because the Typhoon's coming in. It looks like he's concentrated on my squad mate. I'm going to try and shoot him so that he doesn't kill my squad mate, and that's a really big thing. I want more people around me, and you can see I can drop my nose pretty quick, and I can get some shots out. I don't really do anything, but I'm going to follow through, because I'm pretty convinced that he's going to stick onto my teammate, who I tell to extend. It looks like my teammate has actually gone up into a vertical, or at least has continued to turn, and there we go. Perfect bait, and I've managed to secure myself a second kill. The game looks like it's over, but it really isn't. Well, actually, that's a third kill, my mistake. There's not a whole lot left. There's that Corsair, of course, and there's a B-34 Ventura. Now, the B-34 is kind of like a heavy fighter. It's like a bomber that does a bit of turning stuff. Doesn't have great frontal guns, but I'm not really going to take chances, especially with 50 cals, which have a really high velocity, and you tend to be able to aim them quite easily. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to ignore the B-34, and I'm going to prep myself for the F4U. Now, the Corsair is a very scary target. I can't really do much because look at him, he's climbing above me. I'm going to try and keep level, keep my speed up, get some shots off, and it looks like he's not even concentrating on me. So I can go for a quick cheeky shot, and I miss. Instead, it looks like he's gone for that 109, and he smokes the 109. Now, I'm in a little bit of a pickle here because all my teammates are either back to base, rearming, repairing, but it's okay because I'm fairly confident in this thing now. I'm in a turn fight with this Corsair, and he puts himself way in front of my guns. He overshoots massively, and I managed to get a couple of hits with what I think it's the 7.7s. But you can see he's got such good energy retention here that I'm able to basically stay behind him. I could pop air brakes here again, but I really don't want to because I need to keep some energy too. If I run out, he can go into the vertical and he can take me out quite easily. But what I'm going to do instead is because he's been cooking his energy in turns, I'm going to roll over onto him and feint that I'm going to go up to a vertical. As he realizes, he continues straight, and this is where he makes his mistake. He's just out of energy and he can't really do many more maneuvers. That is key, ladies and gents. Keep your energy. That is so important. I'm going to try and pepper him with the 7.7s, but I really don't think that's a great idea. I'm going to try it with the 13mm machine guns, and that's also not a great idea because I've just put myself in front of him. But if you know that this guy is super out of energy, it looks like I may have hit his engine. I could have hit maybe a control surface, but I think I'm just going to try and finish him off with the MG151s, which I don't have a whole lot of, but I still managed to get the kill. I've managed to win something like 3 dogfights with this thing. I've played so irresponsibly, but I've also used my teammates. When you work with your teammates, you can pretty much turn any fighter into a turn fighter. Hell, you can turn a bomber into a turn fighter. I've done it with the 288. I've done it with the low-tier French bombers. I've done it with the PB4Y. If you have a good team that you can work with, like I've got 4 squad mates here, you can really show off and do some funny stuff and get away with it. So the 410 is one of those sorely underlooked planes. Again, I keep saying this, but there are so many vehicles in War Thunder that we just go for the ones that we think are the best. The one that everyone says is the best. But there are some heavy fighters especially that are really, really just underrated. And the 410 is clearly one of them. I honestly, the 410, the P61, the F7F, some of the Japanese heavy fighters, some of the German heavy fighters, the 335A, obviously the 410A. The 410B is a little bit over-tiered from what I've heard, but you can still do relatively well. Now, this B-34, I'm convinced that he's either going to crash or do something stupid, so I'm going to take him out. I'm not going to take his pilot out. I'm going to try and kill his wing, and I think I get his tail. So he can keep his pilot if he wants, save KD if he really wants to do that, but I just want to end the match, and I'm convinced that this guy's going to do something cancer. So there we go. 5 kills in what is thought to be a really bad plane, but actually isn't. And honestly, if you want to give this plane a try, I highly recommend it. If you want to join my Discord so you can squad with me, I'll let you know when I'm squadding, and just jump in VC and we'll have some good fun. But for now, especially with me being busy, I think I'll hold off on it for a couple weeks. But yeah, join the Discord if you want. And also fly planes that you maybe think could be interesting. The 410 is a good example. And honestly, so many people just overlook it. It's sad, but give it a go. You'll have some fun. Anyway, ladies and gents, thank you for watching. Take care, and I'll catch you next time.